Hi guys, this is Hector Mestre, and today I'm going to show you the gear that I started with from the very beginning. But first, before I show it, I'm going to explain something that I did before I got this gear. I had two tape recorders. Imagine this. One would be the recorder with a small microphone, and the other one would be a tape player with some speakers on the side. On the one that has the microphone that would record, I would record my first instrument. It could be a piano, a beat, or whatever I wanted to do, percussion instrument or something, right? Then I would switch that tape to the other stereo tape deck with the speaker. I would press play, and then while that one is playing, I would play the other instrument. And then I would play back to see which one I have to turn up. If it's that I have to play louder, or if I had to turn up the tape deck. You know, just kind of mixing it with my ears, right? And I just did that until the tape started sounding really airy and really bad. And well, but as time went on, I showed interest to my parents, and my mom decided to see, hey man, you know, if you are really interested on this, let's see what we can do so you can start recording your own stuff. So this is the first recorder that I got. This is a 4-track tape recorder. Here's where you insert the tape, and just like a regular tape deck, you have your record, play, fast forward, rewind, stop, and pause. Over here you would choose what channel you wanted to record into. So this is channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, channel 4, and you would take levels between this and this. This is the gain stage right here, and you have some lights that would blink all the way to the top if you were distorting or so. And right here on the side we have the panning. And after you were recording, if you wanted to do some sort of mix, you know, turn it up here, down, or however you wanted to do. Over here you would check the tape. I can't see that, so I didn't really have to do that. And no, actually you do that here, and this is where you would mute the headphones out. This is the headphone right here. And moving on here to the back, you have 2/4-inch inputs, you have the headphones, and you have the output that would go to a stereo or whatever sorts of listening back system that you had at that moment. Very simple. There's no microphone connection, so I had to connect a mixer, stereo mixer to it, and then plug into that mixer the microphones, and I would record like that. Pretty simple. The thing that this gives you is how to come up with some ideas, man. If you didn't have an effect unit, or you didn't have some EQs inside your machine, you have to get it from outside. So I would pre-EQ things and record, or pre-record it with some effects, and then you learn how to insert the proper amount of reverb on a vocal if you wanted to do some sort of thing like that. So this is my first recorder, technically multi-track. From here, I don't have one right now, but I had it when I was in school. I switched over to something like this, but much bigger and a little fancier. This one really actually looked like a mixer, and it would record on double speed. That means it would record faster, so the quality was much better. That one did have EQ. I also could insert in some pass some reverbs or compressors, some sorts of outboard equipment like that. Things that you can't do on this one. That one also had microphones inputs, and some of the channels also had phantom power. And from that 4-track recorder, I jumped into a digital recorder. So this is a digital recorder. This is an 8-track digital recorder. Man, when I got this, I was so happy. This was like a brand new toy. I mean, I couldn't stop playing with it. This was a whole different level of recording for me at that time. It was digital. The sound quality was so much better. Over here you have 8 faders. That means because you have 8 tracks that you can record on. I could this time record a stereo piano, stereo drum set, bass, and some percussion, or vice versa. This one also had the ability that I could record on 7 tracks or 6 tracks and bounce on to the last ones. And I would create these tracks again free. So I would bounce pre-mix to this too, right? And then I would have 6 tracks available all over again, and then I could record and have more instruments that I can record. This was a whole different level of recording for me at that time. I could not see the screen because it has a digital screen, but I learned how to go up and down. You go down, up, sideways. You have your compressors, your EQs, you have your reverbs. You have different things that you could use here for recording that this came preloaded with. Instead of having an outboard gear or anything like that, you just have everything here. Now, if we take a look at the back, it doesn't have microphone input. So on this one, I also had to use an external mixer, and I would connect the mixer onto here. This would record 2 tracks at a time, but the quality was so much better that I didn't care. I would record 8 channels of my drums onto here. I knew how to mix them pretty good, that when I record them here, they sounded pretty nice, and I started doing some demos like that. Now this kind didn't have a hard disk recorder. It would record everything on a zip disk, and 100 megabyte zip disk. Now with 100 megabytes, that's as big as a song almost, a stereo wave file. So I would record here. This was fantastic. I fell in love with it as soon as I got it. I mean, I did some work here. I made some money, and this was my startup here. From here, I jumped into a system that Pro Tools launched, that it was DigiDesign 001. It was a rack unit. It had 2 microphone inputs on the front, and on the back it had the rest of the 6 inputs left. So it would record 8 channels at a time, and that was really good. There, it introduced me into plugins and a whole different way of mixing, editing, and stuff like that. But from there, I didn't stay there. I grew bigger. I went and I got rid of that, and this is a 002 control station. With the control station here, I was able to record. I think it has 4 microphone inputs, but simultaneously I could record here analog to 8 channels, and then I bought separate a PreSonus or analog to digital converter, an ADAT system, and I was able to record on 16 channels like that. Now I was hitting, the more professional level for recording. It was very exciting. People really didn't have at their home a mixer that the faders can move. You would only see that in big studios. So as soon as this came out and it was a little more affordable, I remember me telling my wife, that this is a great product to get, and that this would open doors in the studio. It was really cool. The faders would move on their own, and I made my investment on this, and here I made a lot of great albums. I just kept growing little by little. You change Pro Tools systems, softwares. This got messed up, so it obligated me to jump to my next system. So the next system after the 002 is my Apollo units. I have a set of 2 Apollos. Each of them have 8 analog inputs and digital, it has 10 channels each. So from here I record onto Pro Tools, but I can also mix down on the console. I have 24 channels onto my console, and I could mix hybrid, put some analog gear here, EQs, and also when I record from my console is connected to there, all my preamps, and I have about 28 inputs into the system there, and I can record onto Pro Tools. That's a whole different level of recording. So it gives me the ability to mix without forcing so much my computer with plugins. This is so cool because it can run its own plugins internally. So I have the plugins that I have from Pro Tools, Waves, and then I have my UA plugins here. And this substituted also my 002. It has 24 faders. I can also switch pages up here, back and forth, and I could hit how many tracks I'm recording in Pro Tools, and it's pretty great. I am very happy with the investments that I have done, and so that's how I grew little by little in my recording studio and some of the gear that I have acquired throughout the years. So guys, don't forget to subscribe, turn on your notifications, hit like and share. Any questions that you guys have, just write them in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.